Well, we've got 6 days to go before the Molly Blackburn Thundafund campaign is over. The window closes on Women's Day this coming weekend, and as of today, we had just 11,000 rands short of the 160,000 rand target that we set for ourselves. And I'm about to now sign a contract with Chicana to get the book into the printing stage and the copy editing, with the aim of having it available to at least those who have pledged and have pre-ordered the book in their hands by the anniversary, the 40th anniversary of Molly's death, and that'll be on the 28th of December. Well, to help ensure that I get there, two of my friends, Mpushin Tabeni and Michael Kossa, have got alongside me to form what we're calling Molly's Inklings Group, based on the idea that C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien and Owen Barfield formed in Oxford to encourage each other. But our Inklings Group has one important difference. The Oxford group was there to encourage fantasy writing. Well, that's not what the biography about Molly is going to be all about, although Molly's life was absolutely extraordinary, that some might think that we are writing fiction. That cliche that says truth is always stranger than fiction has certainly been validated in this project. For example, who would have thought that as a direct consequence of this campaign, I would discover an old friend, somebody who I'd been at university together in the late 70s as undergraduates. She is now the Professor Emeritus of Water Science at Rhodes University, Tally Palmer. Well, she pledged to the campaign, and I recognized her name, and we struck up a correspondence. I asked her how she had learned about the campaign and why she had pledged. She said it was because some 30 years ago at the National Arts Festival, she had heard a songwriter singing a ballad to Molly Blackburn, and she was so impressed by it, she went back a number of times to listen to it. Well, Tally pledged to the campaign by clicking on the Thundafund link, which is appearing above, and if you haven't done so, well, do so now, and you can be part of this extraordinary phenomenon of how history is coming to life. Well, she couldn't remember his name, but I was able to find it and traced him on Google and made contact, and we had a wonderful conversation, which led me to jump in my car and get back from Johannesburg down to Gqeberha, to the friendly city, to rekindle an old friendship and to make some new friends. Now watch these excerpts about what happened in 1992 that inspired Tally to actually pledge to the Thundafund campaign. Anyway, Tally, 47 years as I said, and you haven't aged a bit.
It's both kind and untrue, John, but thank you. And it's lovely. It's lovely to be here. Goodness me, listening to all of you, so very many threads. I mean, yeah, so there I was in church on a Sunday, and I see this leaflet for Molly Blackburn, and my husband Tony said, I came back and I said, I really want to do this, and he said, yeah, and Anton, yes, I went to you singing in the festival, and that song just absolutely hit me. And I went back several times. I have to say, you were part of the attraction. You are the only person I've ever written a fan mail note to, in which I left at the venue and invited you to supper. And I was devastated that you didn't take that up. But nevertheless, the song stayed with me.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I would have
certainly would have gone. He was always on the bum for food. I'm surprised.
You can always come home after the goat shed on next Sunday.
Thank you for remembering me, but I'm validated as a person and as a musician and as an artist. You have no idea by the fact that the song had an impact that strong on you. I know that it had a very strong impact on people that I played it to when I wrote it in 91, and I performed it around where theatres and festivals I could. I managed to perform it until about 96 to theatres and festivals overseas, on the Edinburgh Festival in 95 and 96. And there was an occasion in a pub on the west side of Ireland where I was able to play it without the sound system to a full pub of 200 people, and they kept quiet. You could have heard a pin drop.
And I think the message that, or the kind of thread that has gone through this evening's conversation has been about courage and integrity. And that we do find moments in our lives where it's possible to stand up. And sometimes, Anton, you stand up by singing. And I think you did that. I think those words, the messages that you carry do impact people. John, you're doing that by writing. And as we go through, if we are able to focus on the vulnerable, I think that's probably what Molly Blackburn was called enormously to, is people who found themselves enormously vulnerable to an inhumane system.
Well, if you have 3 hours or so to spare, you can watch the whole show on the link now appearing above and in the notes below. And yesterday, at long last, at the Goat Shed in Kenton-on-Sea, in a live performance, we all had a chance to celebrate Molly, for Anton to play his song again, and for Tally to finally have that meal with Anton.
Okay. She never knew me, but I felt like I knew her just the same. They used to call her Norsizwe, the world woman. She was a breaker of chains. They tell me her father was a rich man, a lawyer by trade. He taught her how to be a lady, and at the same time to call a spade a spade. Gave her ponies and a farm, English sheepdogs and Lucky Charms. Brought her young glazed dresses and a silver bracelet for her arm, and said, there's no bully that can't be beat. There's no problem too big to understand. If you can learn to think on your feet, my girl, you'll stand up to any man. This is just another summertime, still light in spring. A schoolboy sketch about a candle in the dark. To most people it won't mean anything. This is just another summertime, still light in spring. But to me it means more than any still life of yours. And love songs true lovers would never sing.
We've got another 6 days for us to reach a target that we'd set of 160,000 rands. And I believe we're going to reach it and are going to exceed it. And what the benefit of that would be is that the story can be more widely distributed to people that actually are receptive to it. So I'd just like to urge you, take this story, share it with folk, to make it even more alive and dynamic so that it speaks into our own context in a way that actually transcends the time and space of where we're at into a cherishing of universal values that keep human society moving forward, notwithstanding all the setbacks that actually we experience and the crises and the disasters.
Because if you should ask one who was there outside St. John's Cathedral stairs, when thousands came without a trace of shame to say their final prayers, they will tell you she was just an ordinary housewife. She never worked for fortune or for fame. They called her Norsizwe. Molly Blackburn was her name.
whatever befell our country, how do you interpret it yourself personally?
I think it's going to be a tremendous loss to the country. It's going to be obviously a most enormous loss to myself. And I just hope that somebody will emerge who can take over from where Molly left off. And that in time that there will be sense and understanding in this country and eventually lead to peace.